So, what Toyota gave us with the first-gen Sequoia was a very capable vehicle, but they left out a few small touches. One of these being that the differential breather on the rear is right there. However, for the center and the front differential, it actually goes up above that wheel well. So what we're going to do is use this union, which is an actual Toyota part, and some 5/16 inch fuel line and this breather. We're gonna run the union into where that differential breather was on the rear there. We're gonna follow the fuel lines all the way up until we get to under the hood, and we're gonna put that breather where the other ones are. So the differential breather for the front and center differentials actually ends up right here. Right here are those. So we're going to follow this down with that 5/16 inch fuel line all the way back there. On it. Let's get it in my hand now. It's a little cramped in there. A lot of guys will take the spare tire down and go from the other direction, but I'm already here. All right, here we go. I'm going to compare the threads with my union that I got. All right, looks like it's the same threads. However, I've wrapped my union with Teflon tape just to confirm it doesn't get any water in it. Also, this one, the old one is 14 millimeter. This one's 12 millimeter. Let's see if I can start this by hand. Where the hole went, right here. Try not to knock any dirt in it. All right, I'm getting that tightened in there now. You gotta kind of go at it sideways because the hole is slightly sideways. I'm just gonna pretty good hand tighten it. No torque spec. It doesn't, I mean, you'll be all right. It's got a bunch of Teflon tape on it. It's getting tight enough that I'm afraid that it's cross thread. So I'm gonna pull that off and check this up here. That looks pretty good in there. That'll be just fine. All right, so what I'm gonna do next, since this is kind of an annoying spot to get to and I don't wanna get to it again, I've got my 5/16 fuel line. This is about 5 feet of it. I've got a union on this side. I'm gonna run from this side up to the hood and then the hood back, and wherever I meet in the middle, I'll cut and put the union. I believe it'll probably end up being about 15 feet of fuel line, but we'll see. So what I'm planning on doing is going around these brake lines and just following the brake lines all the way up. So I'm gonna try to get this on there. Sorry for the bad photography. Kind of a spot right there. Okay, I've got that pretty good on there. I think I'm gonna get my pliers and run that spring clamp down. All right, so I've got the spring clamp on there. Turns out he was the size that was a little too small, but we made it work. So yeah, I don't think that sucker is going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm gonna start taking zip ties and just feeding this wherever these brake lines are, just all the way up the frame there. All right, so I've made it to about right here with this, just following that brake line right there. So now I'm gonna go to the top side with the actual breather side. The diff breathers are right there. Those little two guys that look like they need replaced. I'm gonna lay this diff breather right beside it, feed the tube down that brake line right there, and keep it tucked away from that steering. All right, situation update. I actually found that there was more real estate through here, so I routed it up there, tied it to this brake line with a zip tie, came down here over the brake lines, back over the frame right here. Now I am ready to union this thing, so I'm gonna cut that right about there, give it a little bit of slack. All right, so got that union buttoned up, zip tied. We are now running the rear differential breather from right there. You can see the new one. Down here, down the frame, and all the way to there.
So what this allows us to do is, instead of only fording water that is right there above the differential, we can now, which is about at the level of this lug nut-ish, we can now ford water up to where those differential breathers are, above this tire. So I call that a pretty good modification that Toyota should have just done from the factory, since they already did the front and center, but you know, that's not my problem.